right back, Charlie.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
You always use that active red light, defending. I think it's like.
And again, Mazzellini. Smash the like button, YouTube people. DG, believe me, see me on your TV. Big up the Twitch ones. Let me shut up. 2 more intros.
You always use that active red light, defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on. People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for being tuned in at the moment, whether you're on Twitch, Twitter, or YouTube. As usual, appreciative to you lot. Top of the morning to you guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, in some cases, good night. A man said, stop rinsing the intro so many times, you bug. Big up Marcel, man. You never walk alone unless you're Van Dijk on his own. You know what happened when you came to the Emirates, innit? You know what happened. Liverpool pack, City pack, United pack, West Ham pack. You know, who else is there? Burnley pack for no reason. We've got all different sorts of flavors at Arsenal. Say what you want about my football club. Say what you want about my team. We call some sleepless nights. We might not be winning the league and stuff, but we slap you. So Arteta's got stuff, man. Jurgen Klopp's gone. You get your banter in because you see when you think you're gonna get Javi Alonso, you know you're getting Steven Gerrard, did it? You know it's rugby, isn't it? You know you better rub it out, innit? Marcel, you threw me off, but appreciative to you lot and everybody tuned in. I hope everyone's doing well and safe. I can't lie, I'm in a bit of a weird space because we're going to go left with this, but you see us lads, yeah? Heartbreak is a mad thing, like, and I didn't realize probably until 48 hours ago, my heart's broken, you know, like, man, kind of miss the ex and that, but you get me, like, we hold it, we're Spartans, we're soldiers. There's no point dealing with what could have been, what should have been, what if. We have to deal with what is. But yeah, I always give you the real. But apart from that, man, puff out my chest. Big up Oliver in the cut. Shout out Kay and all those things in the circle, the usual suspects. Again, we're going to see what Mikel Arteta said post Burnley, and we're going to go over all the Arsenal news. If provided nobody flops, 7 p.m. UK time, join me because I'm gonna get some Arsenal fans. We'll have a little bit of an Arsenal fan show tomorrow. Obviously, there's Champions League watch-alongs, and we'll at some point go over what Mikel Arteta's got to say in relation to the press conference, if he hasn't already, in relation to the Porto game. Wednesday, you know we're gonna watch Porto versus Arsenal. Saturday, it's a late evening kickoff. You know we're watching Arsenal Newcastle, and you know as much as I banter Marcel, again I'll be a Liverpool fan for 90 minutes on Sunday because they've got Chelsea. People, so yeah, watch alongs, content, all of these things. Make sure you're smashing the like button, people. Journey to 70k subs. Make sure you're supporting the Twitch as well. We're trying to get to 10,000. Make sure you're following on TikTok and Instagram and all these things, people, because when I'm going into these brand meetings, we need to be able to say DG Nation's kind of 30. YouTube, we're doing what we can. What we got, 58 and some change. That's a mad, you know, that doesn't quite fill up the Emirates, but that's a big game still, really and truly. So yeah, big up to you lot on the journey. Stay strong. It's hard, my brother. It's hard. Obviously, it's a mad one. It's hard. It's hard because I listen. I ain't one of them man going to be crying and stuff. But I'm like, right, like, man can't even. I can't even listen to certain songs. I can't even use certain items. You know, it is what it is. Big up you like Wembley. Oh yeah, I forgot the League Cup final was on Sunday. You better, man. She's broke. He's up. I don't know about that, man. She did quite well, and you know she's gonna get, well, my ex. I know you're gonna get one of them duns that's got the old flat and you know got the mad German whip, and you know. And I'd say, unfortunately, the toughest thing for men to accept, and I've accepted it, is reality is you can be sitting there and missing her. She's getting dogged out by next on, innit? The game's the game, innit? Like it's like being a shooter. I've done so many shootings and I've been shot in it. So now I'm like, I'm not invincible. My thing ain't really different like that. Like, like. And again, it ended a long time ago, but like at the time, bro, man gave 6 years. I did a 6-year bang up, lad. Like, this ain't the way it's supposed to go, lad. Like, this ain't it, lad. Like, this ain't it, lad. This ain't it. All men bleed, word to ambush. But forget all of that, man. Oi, you feel Villa Park with 58. Big up that, man. Smile through the pain. Yeah, man. You know, I'm at that point of just connecting with God and, you know, just staying busy, man. Just keep your mind busy. It is what it is. And like I said, acceptance, man. DG been mad busy lately. Happy the club is getting back into form. Come on, you Gunners. Amen. And again, like football, I always say, and you don't know it, it's nothing new. A week is a long time in football. So if you could imagine 38 weeks where the Premier League's concerned, you know, August, there were concerns with our football club generally, but we was ticking over. We was getting points on the board. Things kind of came to a head in December. Ultimately, I wouldn't say we was necessarily playing bad. And maybe that is what could have showed that there might be light at the end of the tunnel, in that it weren't a thing where when we was losing these games or dropping points, obviously we're not doing well enough. Obviously we're doing things that weren't good enough, but it's not like you couldn't see a philosophy. You couldn't see how we're playing, you know. We're just not doing the job, put the ball in the back of the net. And I guess, you know, that kind of, and I said it a few weeks, well, weeks is an exaggeration, but there was definitely live streams where I was saying up until a point, I was more angry with us drawing against Spurs and Chelsea than I was necessarily losing to Aston Villa, West Ham, Newcastle, and things like that, with the exception of the Fulham away game, because I would say easily for me, Fulham away from home in the Prem, and in the League Cup, West Ham. That's the two performances that I feel were the worst this season. When we've dropped points or had bumps on the road, you know, it's kind of been a mixed bag across 90 minutes. Like, we shot ourselves in. It's a bit harsh for me to say we shot ourselves in the foot at Anfield, because most people are going to take a point. Definitely where Arsenal are concerned, that's a ground we've won the league at, but it's not a ground we travel well to. So, you know, I do think we shot ourselves in the foot on the basis of, it's rather harsh, but we took the lead and we dropped points from winning positions. We definitely shot ourselves in the foot against Chelsea because we didn't start well and we were terrible up until, you know, we got those 2 goals with Declan Rice and Trossard. We definitely shot ourselves with the 2 goals we conceded against Spurs. We shot ourselves in the foot against Fulham at home. But fast forward to December, and you could pinpoint kind of what was wrong. We're just not putting the ball in the back of the net. Ultimately, that wins games, and that's a massive concern. As I was saying, you know, in that kind of bumpy period, it weren't a thing like we was terrible. People are making mistakes. You can't see a philosophy. Obviously, naturally, there's elements of these things, but you could see the philosophy. You could see how we're playing. We didn't kind of waver with how we're playing. We're just not putting the ball in the back of the net. And I genuinely believe a lot of that is because we ain't got that proven striker. But at the same time, a lot of it is psychological. You know, a striker isn't going to deliver Arsenal Football Club to the promised land. They might make the difference. They might put a stardust in this thing, but there's 38 games, you know. Let's just assume a striker bags 20 goals, which we'd love for. There's 18 games to be accounted for, and the others need to make up the numbers, you know, really. You know, Liverpool might look a lot different if historically it was just Mo Salah, a bit like what we do typically with Saka, like they're living or dying by Salah scoring, or, you know, one man at City. We need to spread the goals around, but that's why I felt it was psychological, because I'm not here to gas up our players, but let's be brutally honest. You know, there's a lot of people don't like the fact that Bukayo Saka is lit, and there's been several peasant wingers compared to him, you know, but Saka walks into a lot of teams and he'd be a dream for a lot of managers. Trossard, Martinelli, the same. Gabriel Jesus. There was something psychological that we was not addressing. And I don't know why we weren't doing that, but it looks like the mentality is different. You know, we've obviously got 15 points from 15. That changes the narrative. It's moved from Mikel Arteta out to, you know, can we actually salvage something in the league? Maybe the champs, which I don't believe in. But we're putting the ball in the back of the net. The narrative has changed. The sentiment has changed. And in the same way, losing can be infectious. Winning can be infectious. It's always nice to win games. I would say the turning point was probably the Liverpool game in the FA Cup, which we went out. Again, it's a results-driven business. You know, at the point of these games, I would love to trade places with Liverpool in the FA Cup, with Newcastle, with Aston Villa, with Fulham. Well, Fulham's an exception, but who else is there? Newcastle, because they got the points on the board, really. And the Premier League does come down to fine margins, especially if you're going to beat Manchester City or Liverpool, who are top with 2 defeats at the moment, to a title, really. You need to control the controllables. And I'm not expecting Arsenal to win every game and things. These things happen. But it feels like, for me, and I actually think we could have done better against the top 6 sides. You know, again, I'm being very harsh, but would have loved to have won at Anfield, shot ourselves in the foot against Spurs and Chelsea, or historical top 6 sides, throw Newcastle away into that. You know, we've generally got a decent record against them. It's been the games that, you know, should in theory be a walk in the park. We should be winning. That's where the bumps and bruises, for respectfully to Fulham, and anything can happen. But if we, speaking to Arsenal fans, if we want to win a league title, you can't be Fulham can't be taking 4 points off you. It's as simple as that. You need to find a way against West Ham, Newcastle, and Villa, which I think the game plan was there. Something was missing. And I guess it ultimately, as much as I like how we're moving forward as a club, what we've assembled, the good options and the building blocks, I guess ultimately it's the tools in the toolbox that Mikel Arteta has assembled. And I've got a lot of time for Arteta and what he does. But when he says we've got the finished squad, we need to be a team that scores 100 goals, we need our players fit for the most important time of the season. I'm not saying these things are wrong. I'm not doubting him, but we've kind of been around this rhetoric before. I genuinely believe, again, things can change. We got some big games from now to the end of the season, but it just feels for me as an Arsenal fan in May, we will look back at that December period in the same vein we looked at the tail end of the last 2 seasons where we was fighting for the league and top 4. But it is what it is. The past brings regret. The future brings uncertainty. There's no time like the present. And I can't like going back to being heartbroken. That is the one statement I've been telling myself time after time after time. I ain't gonna lie, if you're watching this thing, you might like, you really want to throw 6 years down the drain and that. Like, it's a madness. DG, stop being a sip, take it on the chin and move on. By G, besides you, he's bragging about having all the gals. Yeah, but every gal knows. Yeah, and I'm not that. DM me. I want to settle down and that. But everyone knows that it's like future. Then my day, you could be doing your thing. There's that one special one. Like it's simple as that, man. But I wouldn't. And for what it's worth, for her, I'll be a simp for what? No one can tell me that. I ain't a simp for just any girl. But there's 2 girls in this world that I'll be a simp for. Simple as that, bro. What do you mean? If you can't be a simp for your romantic interest, then what can you do? I'm a bad boy. No one can tell me nothing. No one can tell me nothing. But last time I checked, this weren't no agony art stuff. Bless up, Jason. We dropped 5 points versus Fulham and 3 versus West Ham. That loses titles. And I agree. I agree with you, man. I agree with you. And it's difficult, If City weren't here, then maybe, us and Liverpool, it goes either way. But they're going to go on a great run of form. And you need to control the controllables, man. And it just feels like a step too far, man. If I'm honest with you, it just feels like a step too far. That love thing is a myth anyway. Stay focused out here, my brothers. The streets are cold. I wouldn't say love's a myth because I'm not going to cap. It's special. It is special when you're involved in that. It is special. But when it ends, boy, crazy, man. Inshallah, my guy. Zini at left back was a big issue. Never want to see him there again. Can't defend. He can be a spare midfielder. We play better without him at left back. I slightly disagree. The last 2 games, maneuvering, we're getting 3 points, scoring mad goals. And the squad is showing that even though it's down to its bare bones, we can still maneuver. But if we're honest with ourselves, yeah, and I'm not taking no gloss of Arsenal or anything we've done because I'm gassed. If we look at it without emotion, West Ham, we're doing what we should be doing. West Ham, the last time, at the point of when we played them, the last time they won was obviously when we played them. They're in a terrible run of form. David Moyes, it could get peak for him. We dealt with business. Burnley can't buy 3 points. We dealt with that, really. So we should be getting away with that. Listen, big up Kirill. I do think there are some games for Zinchenko. I do think he gives us another couple bows to our arrow where central midfield is concerned. And things of that nature. I really do. But I also agree with you in that the better we get, especially if we sort out our midfield and the attackers are doing their job, big up Zinchenko, but then there's less of an emphasis on, the cons to his game is he's poor defensively. The pros to his games is, he runs into midfield, he gives us that. And I just want that to be an accessory. It's like the main meal should be like burger and chips or something. He's halloumi, like it's a side. You don't necessarily need that. And it's unsustainable. I think, it would have been romantic if Zinchenko showed with more game time what he's about. Obviously, I like him. It would have been romantic if Gabriel Jesus took what we know of Gabriel Jesus and just became a goal scorer at Arsenal with the platform to play on a more regular basis. But so far, that hasn't happened. Ivan Toney's equaled or he's chasing Gabriel Jesus's goals tally for the season already, and he missed out on 8 months. So I think we need to learn from Manchester City in the sense of, you, man, we're squad players. You're lit. We need you. We need everyone. And I do think people undervalue the word squad. As you see, as the season plays out, you need a lot of players. There's different heroes and protagonists. There's injuries. There's shifting dynamics. You need that 20-man squad to be 30. You go back to August or around that period, us Arsenal fans, anybody that wasn't involved, we were sitting there and saying, oh, you know what? Their time's done, etc., etc. There's unless you're Declan Rice, Saliba, Gabriel, Bukayo, Saka, and people, Odegaard, and people of that ilk, then you shouldn't really be a regular like that. I mean, Trossard and Martinelli, 1 minute they are, then they're not, really and truly. So, yeah, I don't buy the news story that we ain't interested in Ivan Toney. It keeps going left and right, this Ivan Toney stuff. Love ain't no myth. And if loving your girl is simple, then it is what it is. Bro, it's lit, man. It's lit, bro. Like, I had to, like, I'm not going to lie to you. I had to learn to love my guys and girls out there. I had to. I come into this thing savage. Like, I weren't, the guy having teenage sweethearts and things. I don't know what I'm talking about. I was the guy, innit? Like, yeah, they're coming to the edge, yeah, organizing and patterning. And then I was organizing and patterning, and then I fell in love with it. And then I got out there and started being a savage again. It's a cold world. It's a vicious cycle, man. But we keep going, man. But less of that, man. What are you show with you lot, man? I'm here for football, man. You lot meant to be an escape. And again, we're all human, yeah. Do you know how many times I've been going through things and we're sitting there talking about football and I just start daydreaming about things, nothing to do with what you lot got me to ask from, I think you lot underestimate how strong you have to be to just keep going with life and actually sit here and speak, man. Big up Queen of the South. Hey, Queen of the South. Can be Queen of the North still. You was busy punching up teachers. Not me. I was a good kid in school, man. I was good youth, bro. Good youth, bro. You know the ones there that just a good guy, man. Just a good guy. But yeah, man, forget all of that. All men bleed. It is where it is. The next guy I get in my life, it's going to be lit. DG, have you... I can't lie, these are foggy. DG, you seen your fellow London brother Rio saying Doku is better than Saka? I don't know what's up there with... You got to take that to Dons in South London. Rio Ferdinand, moving mad. Eddie Nketiah, Meady, Reece Nelson, Meady, Hudson Odoi, Meady, Smith Rowe, my guy, but low-key Meady, South London, like I don't know what's going on over there. Like I don't know what's in the spliffs over there. Them man are crazy, really and truly. Nothing good comes out of South London. Why do you think Arsenal moved from them sides to North? I had to, man. I guarantee. Listen, you just put out the fishing rod. Bear Dons are gonna come. But Rio, I don't know, man. Like I can't negate Rio Ferdinand's opinion because obviously he's not only been a professional footballer, he was a top don, really. Anyone that was around when he was playing, Rio Ferdinand would fit. If Rio Ferdinand was playing today, you would be talking about him. Like, obviously, I'm not saying who's better and who's not, but he would be one of the best, if not the best centre back in world football. Similar to what you praised with Van Dijk and William Saliba, you'd be saying all of this about Rio Ferdinand. He was gracious. Obviously, he had the typical things you needed as a defender. He loved to defend. He was quality in all those aspects. And he was very good with his feet. And obviously, he's been at Man United, won everything there, has played against top players. So he knows more about football than me. But I find it very hard to sit there and listen to when people like that come out with crazy things. I'm like, bro, you've played football. What are you doing? And he's got the Man United gene, innit? Like, them man are fooled by party tricks. How you think Anthony, bro? How you going Ajax and getting Anthony, bro? Timber was there. Shameless settings. Big up Lisandro Martinez, Rey Mysterio. I know my centre-back, Saliba and Gabriel, ain't held no 7 against Liverpool for all the canings we've been taking. It's an entertainment hype. Like, Doku is not better than Saka. He might be one day. Doku, obviously, I would say, in theory, Doku's a more exciting player than Saka. But my man's got all the Tekken Street Fighter skills. He's doing all of that stuff, but... That's great. Are you getting the numbers? Is your decision making doing well? The very fact that he played 90 minutes against Chelsea probably tells you everything because he's someone to get hooked. I think he's got great potential. I'd love him at Arsenal. You could see my videos where I was saying Arsenal could have got him. I think he's raw and I think he's in the best place. I don't know if he's going to make it at City, but to learn from Pep, any player that can walk into Pep Guardiola's office and he's your manager, if you don't improve as a footballer for whatever time you spend with him, then you might as well retire. You're an idiot thing. But Saka is more effective. He makes the difference. He's way more consistent. He's just better than him, bro. You do your party tricks, and arguably, I think football fans get excited when everyone can do these party tricks. If Saka is limited and he's got a limited range of skills and he gets the maximum out of that, isn't that better than someone that can do a million things but they turn it on once every 5-10 games? Saka's a big dog for certain players. I don't want to hear about Doku, Kulusevski, Anthony, the madman that had to go thingy. That had to go Spain. We don't condone that. I don't want to hear about Jadon Sancho. He could have hacked it. He got shipped out to Bundesliga. Please. Saka's a big guy for this. We're talking about him in the same realms as Mo Salah, and he cannot talk to Mo Salah at all. Salah's better than him. Salah's done more than him. But that is the levels. That is where we are now moving the conversations. That's where we want Bukayo Saka to go. You see the statistics. Oh, he's having a slow season. Ultimately, you die by the high standards. And a lot of people just made their opinions up on Saka and just can't say, yo, I was wrong, No matter what you say about Arsenal Football Club, Bukayo Saka is absolutely mustard. Declan Rice is mustard. Saliba, mustard. Big up Gabriel Martin Odegaard, the Savage Martinelli. I've got a lot of love for Jesus as well, man. We're there, man. The stream's locked off. What? Don't say that. What? Hello? Well, I can't see on my end anything. Are you lot still hear me, or is something mad happen? It's a bit awkward, ain't it? Like, hope we're still here. Am I still here? All right, cool. I got shook. I see Arsenal signing a raw striker from Sesko, Zerki, and the Sporting guy. Bit harsh to call the Sporting Lisbon one raw, in my opinion, because although I ain't got an informed opinion about him, obviously he's been at Coventry, he's doing his thing at Sporting. Zerki, very raw. Sesko, very raw. You know, we did a watch along and we saw the raw elements to his game. But I'm not necessarily against that, essentially, really and truly. Of course, I want someone that's coming into this where we're having conversations of them saying, you know, are you going to be like what? When Alexis Sanchez was playing as a striker and got them goals, or what we've had with Aubameyang, I genuinely believe if we want to be title winners, Saka needs to keep going to the next level. Martinelli, Trossard, whoever, all the attackers, whoever's about, even Odegaard could chip in with a couple of goals. Gabriel Jesus is a secondary striker rotation option. You need to, I don't know how you ain't good enough to get 20 league goals, but you need to be getting 10, 11, and you need that guy with 20 plus. We need that striker that in the summer we can sit there and say, you know what, he's going to be up there with Salah, with Kane, with Son, you know, with Haaland. I'm not saying he's going to win the Golden Boot, but ultimately goals win games. I don't know what we're going to do, man. Are we going to sign a raw striker like a Sesko that can, obviously we might not necessarily see immediate results like that, but long term they can tie into what we're doing and become lit? Are we going to go for that Lautaro Martinez, that Ivan Toney, that Vlahovic, that Osimhen? All of these players have different pluses and negatives around them. Calvin Phillips retirement incoming. Bro, I can't lie. Calvin Phillips having a tough time, innit? But it was expected. You're joining a team in West Ham that's form's been on the floor. You ain't played for a while. You've had injuries this season. You're not at the pace. And, you know, it's terrible from you. You're getting sent off. You're giving away penalties. You've joined the team. And I think people really underestimate signing for a team in January and hitting the ground running. Sambi been playing with confidence, though, drives the price up. I must admit with Sambi Lokonga, he's looked like he's found a decent patch over there at Luton. He looks like he's found a decent patch at Luton in himself. But are we getting in that trap now of Arsenal fans where we're like, oh, should we bring him back? Should we get him back into the fold? Should we do this? Should we do that? Should we do the third? You know, or should it be a thing where, yo, you know what? This period, if any time you've looked like the next Yaya Toure and company's comments have made any sense, it's now kind of thing. Do you sell him and keep it moving? You never know with Lokonga. You know, things are funny. Look at Cedric. If he takes a leaf out of Cedric's book, depending on how you maneuver during the January or the summer windows, you can survive really and truly. You can survive if you just keep your head down. Don't say hello to the manager at training. You can keep moving. But, you know, it all depends, because Partey might be here next season if we can't shift him off the wage bill. Jorginho, I'd imagine if Partey goes, Jorginho stays because he's doing the management courses now. He seems like he's valued off the field. He seems like, as well as a player, he's a coach. Obviously, he's been living in London for a while. But Jorginho might say, you know what, I love being at Arsenal. I like what's going on. But, you know, I've played for Arsenal. I've done good things. I've done my thing at Chelsea. I want to go back to Italy. I want to get a payday in Saudi, or I want to go back to Brazil. There's that. You know, if that, we all know the one, you know, with Jorginho with Jorginho and Thomas Partey, we don't quite know what's going to happen. I think it's 50-50 they could walk out, 50-50 they could stay. With El Nene, you never know. It might get a new contract. He's probably the one that's gone. So naturally, Arsenal might say, you know what, we know we have to spend a lot of money, anything from 60 to 100 on a striker. 60, in my opinion, depending on the profile. If you want a winger, a relative household name, you're looking at around 50, 60. So that's what, you know, let's just say that's 160 on two positions. You need to address midfield. Let's just assume we get Zubimendi people. That's the next 50 million. And then you're probably going to have to buy a backup goalie where Ramsdale leaving's concerned. I reckon we go for another versatile attacker in the Tomiyasu and Timber ilk. So yeah, man, really, it all depends. And sales are going to be a thing, you know. If Luton stay up and Luton are talking to us a certain sort of way, Lokonga, one love, my guy, stay over them sides. You know, you'd imagine Ramsdale's going to be gone. Nelson and Nketiah, Smith Rowe, their futures are in the balance. You know, you never know. Everyone's got a price, really and truly. I mean, you look through Arsenal's team, beyond the obvious, who would you say, like, you can guarantee is going to be here for the next season or two? Like, the obvious ones. Provided money isn't put on the table, we can't refuse. You'd imagine David Raya's move's going to be made permanent. Obviously, Saliba, Gabriel, Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, Martinelli. I don't imagine, you know, maybe there'll be a day that Trossard's moved on, but I'd imagine Trossard is here. I don't know if I've said Gabriel Jesus / Zinchenko, Timber. Tomiyasu's a valued squad player. Midfield, you don't know with Partey, with Jorginho, with El Nene. You don't know with Smith Rowe, Nketiah, Reece Nelson, Fabio Vieira. You never know. Lokonga's probably going to cut. Tavares probably going to cut. Ramsdale, if I've said that, could cut. Cedric, see ya. Who else? Forgetting all the players, man. But you get the point, innit? You lot get the point. You get the point. I'm still live. One love for that, man. Big up yourself, Graham. Them South man dealt with the connection. Probably did, man. Probably did. Is it the same team for you on Wednesday, DG, or does Jorginho come in perhaps for Havertz? One where I wish I wasn't Mikel Arteta, if I'm brutally honest. Like, it's one where, because you just don't know. Like, even if the boys that have had injuries, you know, even if they're fit, you know, is Jesus fit enough to start? Listen, I have a bias. I'm always going to start Jesus when fit at this moment in time. Tomiyasu, I really hope you're fit, because you're a man that, obviously, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but definitely where West Ham were concerned, I would have loved for you to play. Obviously, you know, next month we've got City, we've got Chelsea, we've got Brentford, we've got some very tough games. Tomiyasu available to choose from would be lit. But I'd imagine any, you know, the Zinchenko's, the Gabriel Jesus's, the Fabio Vieiras, obviously Smith Rowe's back from his injury and was on the bench and whatnot. In fact, he came off it, did he not? I could be wrong with that. They could be factors, but I would imagine the team would be David Raya. Well, no brownie points for David Raya. David Raya, Saliba, Gabriel, Benjamin White. I do think more so Zinchenko, but if Tomiyasu and Zinchenko are fit, that could be a thing. But, you know, Kirill hasn't put a foot wrong. I still think the jury's out. I think he's a decent player. I think he looks a lot more confident. I do think fans are reaching with, I'm not praising a man for him being good because he's doing well, but I think people are kind of overdoing it. But shout out to him because, you know, he obviously quick thinking for the throw for Havertz against Burnley. He earned, I shouldn't be praising people for earning the corner, but he earned a corner, obviously, that led to a goal at West Ham, you know, against Liverpool at the Emirates, him winning a header. You know, he technically got an assist for Trossard. We know Trossard had a lot to do. So there's every reason to start the same team, if I'm honest with you. Trossard has to play. We need to play him into form. As much as I'm saying Jesus, and he seems to be a different animal in the Champions League, I think Trossard has to play. If there was going to be any changes, you know, from the lineup that went out there, I would say I would more be saying Tomiyasu for Kirill. Again, Kirill ain't put a foot wrong, but Tomiyasu, defensive security away from home. And you know what? Don't want to make lots of moving parts, people, but if Jesus, it tells you what I want right now, isn't it? You know, heartbreak makes stress. Is there a reality where Trossard moves to the left and Jesus goes up front? I would say, other than that, I don't think I'm tampering with things. Zinchenko is a liability and should be sold in the summer. Harsh. He's a liability in certain games. Arsenal won't get past Porto, mark my words. Remember, I said it's going to be the end of the road, and I ain't talking boys to men. You're a fool, man. Jesus has to hold bench on Wednesday afternoon, Edwards. Bambi will be all grown up, but honestly, the ship has sailed. With Sambi, I've always said he's a decent player, but more than anything, it looks like a confidence thing with him. Like, it genuinely looks like confidence. He believes in himself, and that was a fantastic slide tackling last-ditch effort he made. I think Luton deserved a bit more from the United game, but ultimately he didn't. Jorginho would make a great coach, and maybe that's why he stays. Arteta got lieutenants, really and truly. Sambi bullied Bruno in midfield, showed him levels. But with the way Bruno's playing, like, is there brownie points for that? And I agree with Marcel. He's probably just found his level, man, if I'm completely honest. You never know. I'd back anyone. If he could genuinely look like the next Yaya Toure or his form's out of this world, then I look a lot better with midfield. You know, if we could wake up and Partey never gets injured and he shows his quality, you know, Lokonga shows that he's a tiny Partey, you've got Declan Rice, then I'm probably just screaming sign one midfielder. But yeah. DG question, what of the Chelsea players we have signed, who has been the best signing? In my opinion, for me, it's David Luiz. His leadership led us to the FA Cup. I do think Douglas Luiz turned out to be a better signing than possible. I'd probably say Eddie Nketiah. He got released from the academy. He's gone all the way through, from the academy. He's gone all the way to the first team. You know, Declan Rice was a former Cobham boy via West Ham to us, but I'd probably say them. We've had some crap guys in it. Gallas, Lasana Diarra lasted about 2 minutes in Arsenal colours. Douglas Willian was absolutely dog crap. Do you know what? Off the top of my head, I would probably, honestly, I'd agree with that. I'd say David Luiz. Slightly, Jorginho's there as well. You know, Kai Havertz, jury's still out. But at this moment, Jorginho, David Luiz probably there. I think Petr Cech had his issues, but I don't think he was that callous. But yeah, Eddie is a joke. Stop. He's got to be sold. Would you start Smith Rowe on Wednesday? Unfortunately, not. Jorginho, if I was to say anything, I can't lie against Porto. I'm slightly pairing Jorginho and Havertz up top. Sorry, Trossard, but you might have to hold bench for this game. What are you saying? I think you got to start Havertz, if I'm honest with you, and I feel mad saying that, but I think he's got to go out there. I think I would start him. I'd be flirting with bringing Jorginho into the mix, if I'm completely honest, because it should be more of a cultured game. He's been there, done it, wore the t-shirt. But then it's either Havertz or Jorginho. You know what? Away from home and all the hype that Havertz gives us, I know the bars on the floor. If anything, I would put Jorginho in for Havertz, but I'd probably stay Havertz, Odegaard, and Declan Rice. I would keep Sambi. He's getting game time now, looking better every game. Rather, thumbnails have been fire lately. My guy, keep up the good work. Appreciate that. And you have to thank the editor, man. Jorginho is a leader, but you should be a leader. Like, I shouldn't be able to pick out who's the leaders. There's all different type of leadership qualities. There's them players that are going to puff out their chests and talk mad and whatnot. There's the conventional leaders. There's those probably leaders in all teams in the Premier League and world football for that matter that we don't necessarily know what they're doing really. Like, I actually think Benjamin White, for example, is more of a leader in the Arsenal team than given credit for. But I shouldn't know who's the leader. I shouldn't know. If we want to be a title winning side, everyone should look like one. You look at the Invincibles, you know who the captain is, but you look around that side, you look at the Liverpool teams when they won the Premier, the champs, young or old, who was the captain? City, who was the captains? Spurs, no, I'm captain Spurs, they never did it, but you get the point. We'll need Jorginho for the weekend. It's a big week for us, man. Newcastle under the lights, scary, I want revenge. Big up Kirill, but if Tomiyasu is fit, he starts at left back, I'm with that. Havertz and Trossard are doing a thing at the moment. It's true. I would say more so Trossard. I think sometimes you've got to play on form when players are in a real purple patch, and I think Trossard is doing his thing in that regards. And it's a difficult one with the manager because you have to show flexibility and change things when the time's right, but also at the same time you have to kind of have that approach of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it's a bit sort of one, if that makes sense. Got to sell Sambi now. The stocks are higher. We need an acceptable backup striker, which Eddie is not sold. I mean, Eddie and Nketiah, listen, I don't want to diss him. There's been times where you've done your thing, but arguably your stock's never been on the floor more than it is now. Like, we all know better yet that Kai Havertz and Trossard can both play up front together. They're probably better options in general for what they're going to give you over 90 minutes. Obviously, Trossard's better than him. You got them two, you got Jesus. There's, earmarked in for the summer, evident area to improve this team is a striker. So Eddie and Nketiah, you've done well. Like, you've come through the academy, you've won an FA Cup, you wore number 14, you've scored a hat trick, but it's probably now time to set your wings and fly, man. Do you think we'll sell Eddie in the summer? I think we should. I think there's a good possibility. I think every option should be on the table. It all depends what Eddie and Nketiah wants and whether you like him or not. Whether he believes he's going to get minutes or not, he backs himself regardless, really. So there could be that. There's obviously been times where there's been massive injuries. If Havertz starts showing he's good in midfield and Arteta says you're not a striking option like that anymore, then that's one striker kind of eliminated. If Trossard's form is all about the place, or if Martinelli's form is all about the place, Trossard could go on the left-hand side, or Gabriel Jesus could do that. There could be that avenue. There's also an avenue for me. I'm not against loaning out Eddie and Nketiah, purely because you go out on loan. If we're getting 35 odd million quid this summer, I'm doing it. But, if we're not, there could be an avenue of you go on loan to a Premier League team. You do what Solanke's done, for example. You score 12 goals. You have kind of one of them Balogun kind of seasons. And then whatever we was going to get this summer, next summer, you might get a lot more, really and truly. So I think everything should be on the table. And I'm not saying Eddie's going to wake up and be the biggest and baddest. But one luxury I'll give to him and all strikers is they peak late. And I think one thing about Eddie's development is quite surprising. Like, I don't think he was earmarked to be in this kind of role. Appreciate that, ads, man. Big up the editor, man. Thumbnails were trying, man. Saka versus Foden, world class. Who do you think will reach the heights? I think Foden, it's easier for me to lean towards Foden because he's more the sort of footballer I want to see his eye catching and all of those things. I do think Foden will be a world-class number 8. Saka is probably, in my opinion, closer to doing such because, he's one of the best in his position at this moment in the world, but they're both going to have to do an absolute madness. And it's going to be interesting seeing Phil Foden's development because you're going to look at City one day and they're always going to have stars. But, and not to diss Foden because you think of him, but in the same way, when you say Manchester City, you probably think John Stones, Diaz, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, historically, the Gundogan's and all of them. Foden's going to have to be the first one. Saka stats much better. Saka is the uncrowned golden boy. You know, Foden is that pin-up England need. How long do you think the gaffer will take to sign a Saka backup? Worry Starboy will burn out if we don't give him a break. Big up DG. I mean, we need one in the summer, innit? We need one in the summer. We need someone that he's going to trust a bit more than Reece Nelson and somebody that is more likely to challenge for Saka's spot. Obviously, Trossard and Martinelli are fairly adaptable. Obviously, if we go and sign a striker, there's a reality where ideally, for me, we sign a striker and a winger. But there's a reality where we just sign a striker. Gabriel Jesus does all of that. Or there's actually an avenue. I don't know whose place they would take. But if you was to find someone that's going to put up Saka's numbers out wide, and let's just assume they can play on the left and, you know, Martinelli, Saka, you know, this new guy, you lot all sort it out together, we might not need a striker because I think we need a forward. But when you deep it, we know Trossard can score goals. We know Jesus is an exciting player. But generally, if being a striker in this Arsenal team, you know, if your remit was to get 20 plus goals, none of them play up front. Havertz doesn't play up front. It sounds stupid and it's not that, but it's almost like that's the least important thing. It's all the other aspects Mikel Arteta demands. It's almost like Trossard's a bit different because he plays more like a false nine, but it's almost like you're a sacrificial lamb, really and truly. Like, you know, you might not get the goal scoring opportunities as consistently as Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, or the runners in midfield get, if that makes sense. Neto would be lit. I don't think we're going to go for him purely because of the injury thing, man. I'd keep Havertz and Jorginho. Let me know your thoughts. To a degree, I think the team is picking itself. Bruno has been shocking this current period for them, man. There, man. Well done. That we done that with Rob Holding all the time. It's absolutely crazy. We had Rob Holding, man. Really and truly, I can't believe Rob Holding's even still in the Premier League. I mean, some of our fans were losing their marbles at the thought of us only getting a couple of pennies for him, man. Neto would be lit, but it's going to cost too much. And to be fair, if you could, I don't know who, but if you could shop abroad and get a winger that's going to be cheap, fair enough, really and truly, because it does him what in the summer we've already spent 27 million for Raya. Then there's probably another 50 for a midfielder. Then there's probably another up to 100 for a striker. Then if you're going for a relative household name out wide, and again, if you could, I don't know who, but if you could, it sounds mad, but if you could get someone like our own Doku or someone that's a bit raw and can be utilized or better, then fair enough. But if we go off, you know, when we was linked with Mudryk, when we was linked with Rafinha, and when we was linked with Pedro Neto, I think the commonalities between all of those names I said is they're all fairly rapid. So I do think Mikel Arteta probably wants a winger that's a bit different to what we have, if I'm honest. And they're all big ticket items, essentially. Like, they all, thank the Lord, you know, the Mudryk thing didn't work at this moment in time. But yeah, you get the point. How many points do you think we'll collect of our remaining 13 games? Broski, I wish I could say, man. I wish I could give you an answer. I don't know though, man. It's a madness. It's an absolute madness. An absolute madness. Like, what? Newcastle, you can't really predict these games, man. Like, oh, you know what? F it. The form we're in. 2-1 Arsenal against Newcastle. What should happen and what actually happens is completely different, but we should be walking the floor with Sheffield United. So I'd say 3 points against Newcastle, 3 points against Sheffield United. Brentford, I think we shoot ourselves in the foot and draw. I can't not say we're not going to beat Chelsea, but that could go either way regardless of their form. So I'm going to say positively, you know, draw at Brentford, beat Chelsea. City away, probably lose. Unfortunately, I want to be wrong, but probably drop 3 points there. Brighton away, I think we lose, drop 3 points there. Luton, we should be winning that. Villa, I want revenge, and that's on my birthday, April the 13th, so they better not rub out. Wolves away, I hope we win. North London derby, I don't know how that goes. Bournemouth, we should be winning. Man United at Old Trafford, we don't travel well there. I don't know how that goes. Arsenal versus Everton. You know, Everton might still be in a relegation fight to the last day. Hopefully that stuff is decided by the time we play them. Rafael, he's lit, but he's looking a bit stinky at this moment. No doubt about it, we should be winning every game up until City. And I think if we are to salvage something with the league, that's what we need. Smash the like, folks. Remember to follow up on Twitch as well. Brush, tell them again. Appreciate that. My brother Arsenal was cooking recently. Let's see, can they keep it up? And that's the age-old question, man. No way Jesus starts over Trossard at this point. Why change what's working? That's fair. I've been seeing Nico Williams links. I see us getting him. I mean, we need another winger, really. With the greatest of respect to Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, we need those two areas up front and out wide. We need people who are going to come in and genuinely challenge for spots or genuinely take this thing forward, which at this moment in time, Nelson, you've had your moments. Eddie, not to this, you've had your moments, but not everyone can go to the promised land that we hope to come on to, man. Smash the likes. Appreciate you, Tom. Broski, come on, DG. We're winning every game and winning the double. Listen, by God's grace, by God's grace. By God's grace, we do that, man. I would love to. Who wants their football team to drop points? I'm not too sure. But yeah, fair enough with that, man. Moving on from that, though, let's see exactly what we got in the tabloids, man. Should we start off with Mikel Arteta's press conference on how hungry we are this season? We want more, and we know how important the goal difference is to be up there. Every player, whether he plays 1 minute or 30 minutes, the contribution they're willing to give to the team is really positive. So let's keep going. On Saka's maturity, he said, we already see him as a senior player, especially forward players. Wingers with a level of consistency and numbers he has is something really strange to find, but it's not a coincidence, that's for sure. When you look at him every single day, the way he trains, the way he applies himself, the qualities that he has, he can do more. Fair enough, people. On Saka working on his finishing, we tried it with our players to make them unpredictable, and I'm sure the opponents are looking at us a lot, and we have to find ways to create them problems. He's got this ability, and he trains a lot in many different solutions in and around the box, and today he had 2 brilliant finishes again. On Martin Odegaard, he said, I think confidence-wise, he's in a really good moment, and physically as well, with the way he applies himself, defending, attacking, the connection, the movement that he gave us on the right-hand side. It's really good. He's hitting form. Nico Williams, ain't it? I hear it, man. I just want the next striker to be it, man. Havertz has said we trust everybody on the pitch. He said, I think we trust ourselves. We know the quality we all have and we trust each other, and that's what we did. But still, it's not the end now. We need to keep being focused. We just work hard and try to enjoy ourselves on the pitch, and that's what we did today. Then he said, in relation to the Porto game, for me, it's always going to be a nice memory, and I'm looking forward to going there again. I have good memories there. Things are always going to be hard there, but I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully we are going to win this game. I think every team that plays in the Champions League wants to win it, and that's the goal. We all go into this competition to go as far as possible, but still you have to look game by game. There are 2 games to play now. Wednesday's the first one. Try to win it and see for the other game as well. Fair enough. I don't think anyone can disagree with that. Martin Odegaard has been speaking himself, people. He says, that's what we want to do. We want to compete in every competition that we play in. Of course, the Champions League is a massive one, so we're excited for it. We just want to focus on ourselves each game, keep improving every game, and we'll see how it goes. We're in a good moment now. We have to use that momentum, keep building on it, and we'll see. Fair enough. I mean, this article did me there. I thought there was going to be stuff of credibility here. I think that's what we were missing a little bit in the last few weeks. Before the break, we created so much, but we didn't score the goals. But within the last few games, we've been brilliant in front of goal. We get so many people in the box and so many situations around the box. So, yeah, it's been brilliant. Last game was a great performance, and yeah, we played really good again. We just have to keep going like this. There's a long way to go, and we can still improve a lot of things. I think that's the mindset. We just want to keep going and keep improvement. I think that they mean improving, but fair enough. Saka has said his hat-trick is coming. He says it's come. So in fact, sorry, I'm skipping the gun here. Smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't. I'm really pleased. I'm enjoying my football, but obviously I need to keep focused. But yeah, of course, I'm happy to score two weeks in a row, and hopefully the third will come soon. It's coming, but I need to be patient. He then said, yeah, it was a lot of fun out there. I really enjoyed it, and it's nice to see the fans coming up with new chants and stuff. I just loved it, so I enjoyed it. And then he went on to say, I think it's really good. Definitely now that not only that I'm playing well, the team's playing well, we're scoring a lot of goals because we've got some really important fixtures coming up starting on Wednesday, and I can't wait to go there. I'm really excited. So yeah, looking forward to it, and hopefully we can take this form into that game as well. Douglas Luiz rumours have gone quiet. Looks like the club will go after Zubimendi. Honestly, we don't know. I think Douglas Luiz, Zubimendi, Onana, and a bunch of midfielders are probably all going to be on the list. The goals we are conceding are because of our own fault, but we still have the best record this season. Defenders win leagues. They do, man. And that just shows you that we can be our own enemies and we're the masters of our own fate. We've got 83 likes. Can we get to 100, folks? Keep your thoughts coming. So yeah, that's in relation to that. When you look at the race for the title, I think Arsenal, and as it says here, we were top X amount of days last year. It doesn't matter. I think we're third in a 3-horse race. I do think it's between Liverpool and City, but if we take our points and City keep dropping points and the injuries that Liverpool have harms them, which I don't think will be the case, we're there. But you can see the run of games, man. You can see the run of games, and Pep's got the territory of doing it. So Who knows, man? But we have to give ourselves the best chance. Say what you want about Bukayo Saka. 20 goal involvements for Saka in the Premier League this season with 13 games left. Please don't talk on my star boy. And if you do, talk to him nice. The last 5 years, people, come on, look what he's doing. Look what he's doing. In 1920, 4 goals, 12 assists. So he had a hand in 16. The following season, 7 goals, 7 assists, had a hand in 14. The season after that, 12 goals, 7 assists. So 19. Last season, 15 goals, 11 assists. This season and counting, 15 goals and 12 assists. Bro, Starboy. They said his season was poor. While you can't always look at numbers, you can't deny that this man is on an upwards trajectory. There will be seasons where it's probably not as strong as that, but this is a man that keeps improving, someone that clearly isn't resting on their laurels and clearly wants to be better. And we ain't even scratched the surface of this lad, man. And obviously in the last 6 games, you know, he bagged against Fulham, assisted against Palace, scored against Forest, bagged against Liverpool, and has got 2 braces in 2 weeks against Burnley and West Ham. Long may it continue. FPL points we're eating. Lautaro Martinez, who was once linked with Arsenal, people, and I'm still on the list of Lautaro Martinez fans. Probably will sign a new deal at Inter, but he's become the first Inter player this century to score 20 plus Serie A goals in 3 consecutive seasons. Imagine we had someone like that. Allegedly, I'm not endorsing ITKs and stuff, but Arsenal allegedly have an interest in the individual. We've probably got an interest in every quote-unquote household striker. The Inter Milan CEO actually said, "We are not worried. We had no signals from PSG or any other club. We're extremely optimistic on a new deal to be agreed soon with Lautaro. He loves Inter. Same for Barella." So make of that what you will. Martinez himself said the renewal, I'm very happy. I didn't expect all this love when I came to Inter. I'm very happy at Inter and the family is happy as well. Few details are missing for the renewal, but it will come soon. Fair enough. Again, I'm not sure anyone wants to give fuel to the Kylian Mbappe stuff, but nonetheless, reports in the English media suggest that Kylian Mbappe's entourage offered the player to Liverpool last year, but the Reds weren't prepared to break their wage structure. A desire to emulate Thierry Henry apparently saw the Frenchman being offered to Arsenal, and they turned it down for the same reason. I have to say, guys, that I haven't heard this. Honestly, there's no update on Mbappe so far. I've really nothing new to share. And reports today have aggressively said that he's going to basically be a Real Madrid player, which we already knew. Allegedly, Arsenal are very interested in Bologna striker Joshua Zirkzee, according to reports in Italy. Again, it's easy to link us with any striker. He's got interest from Man United, allegedly, as well as Napoli and AC Milan. He's valued at around 45 to 50 million euros. If we believe the 22-year-old is the guy, yep, but is there enough confirmation? Has he got a strong body of work, or is he going to be another young volatile player, really, essentially, as we look to get closer to Liverpool and City and achieve what they've achieved? For what it's worth, though, he's got 9 goals and 6 assists from 26 games, people. So I'm not sure. He averages a goal in every 3.5 games. So I'm not going to... He could be on the upwards trajectory, but I'm not too sure. But yeah, if you want him, 45 to 50 million euros. And who knows, really? Arsenal convinced about signing 170 million Premier League euro. Now, some reports say we're not on Ivan Toney anymore. Some say Pedro Neto. So who knows? For what it's worth, Arsenal are confident that Ivan Toney and Neto would make the desired impact if they move to the North London club in the summer transfer window. Scouts from the Gunners observed both players in action during Wolverhampton Wanderers match against Brentford last weekend. Then they just play Spurs. Fair enough, though. But apparently, people, Dean Jones has said it would be an ideal fixture for them to take in those 2 players. Both of them have been on the radar over the past year, and it was an opportunity to check exactly where each player is at this stage of the season. To be honest, I think it's beyond the stage of gouging how good either player is. Arsenal are totally convinced that either of them or both of them could work well at the Emirates. There are not really any doubts about that. Allegedly, Toney is valued at 100 million. Neto is valued at around 70 million. And we all know you've got the backdrop of FFP, essentially. Arsenal suffer Pedro Neto transfer blow, it says here, people. Gary O'Neill insists Wolves have no plans to sell him. Obviously, he's going to say that. He's not going to say anything else, but Spurs and Liverpool, ironically, are also interested. Has been linked with City as well as Arsenal. The Wolves manager said his strengths are incredibly strong. His athleticism and his pace are excellent. His quality on the ball when he's trying to find a pass at the end of it is excellent. I'm still working really hard on improving certain bits of him, which I think he needs to improve, in my opinion. He knows that. We have spoken about that already, about how much he can do for the team out of possession and stuff, and still some understanding with the ball. He knows we want to improve him. It would be really lazy for me to say, oh, he's fantastic and let him get on with it and see how well he does. I still want to push him and see how well he does. I still want to push him and get him as close to a perfect wide player as we can. I've been asked a few times about the sum already. I'm not interested in discussing Pedro Neto leaving the football club. He's a fantastic player and we spent a lot of money on and have worked hard. As far as I'm concerned, we do not want to lose our best players. We have a long way to go yet this season and hopefully stays with us. Going to need to put a lot of money, but you feel like he is someone that is the beginning of the end. But yeah, and for what it's worth, Gary O'Neill, one of the most underrated managers, in the Prem, I believe. Fabrizio Romano and Jarell Hato has said Arsenal have been scouting him for months, but it's also the same for other European top clubs. Hato is also set to sign a new deal at Ajax very soon. It's a matter of final details, and it will include no release clause from what I am told. So there you have that. Sambi Lokonga again. Sambi Lokonga revival, great last bit of ditch defending to deny Bruno Fernandes there. It's going to take a bit more than that. Gary Neville said he doesn't give up, he doesn't stop, and he just throws everything at it. Bruno Fernandes can't believe it. He's been really good. Lokonga, we talked before the game about Barkley, but Lokonga's been outstanding, and it is against one of the better teams in the Prem, people. Suarez revealed that Arsenal almost signed Benzema from Real Madrid, people. I want to skip to exactly what he said here, people. Real Madrid wanted to sign me and everything was on track. They were planning to sell Benzema to Arsenal. It was all done. When the World Cup started, Barcelona joined the race, and obviously I preferred Barcelona. Boy, what could have been with Karim Benzema? Newcastle United and Aston Villa allegedly are leading the race for Emil Smith-Rowe. Apparently they're keen on the fringe player Smith-Rowe. It's believed both clubs could approach the Gunners about the 23-year-old if he is made available this summer. Sources have told Football Insider that Arsenal are weighing up the possible sale of Smith-Rowe and will have a huge decision to make on his future in the off-season. He's made just 3 starts this season due to injuries and fierce competition for places at the Emirates Stadium, and he was linked with a loan move to West Ham during January, as you know, people. He has a contract until 2026, so he's got 18 months, 2 years. You'd imagine now's the time to either sign a new deal or think about moving people on, but it is what it is. Big him up. He's made 14 appearances so far this season, just needs a clean run. Chelsea are reportedly prepared to consider alternatives to Victor Osimhen, who's said to be a target for PSG. Obviously we're watching what's that's being said there because Arsenal have also been linked with him, people, so we'll have to see. And they've also been linked with Ivan Toney and Ferguson, the same names that are linked with Arsenal Football Club. Apparently Napoli players aren't happy with how Osimhen is given preferential treatment in comparison to the rest of his teammates. That's irrelevant, at least for another 24 hours. Romano has spoken about Pedro Neto as well. He said, despite what Wolves manager Gary O'Neill said, I think it's going to be very difficult to keep Pedro Neto at Wolves next summer. This is my feeling. He's appreciated by many clubs. He could stay in the Premier League but move to a top club in the summer. Fair enough. So there's that. Well, this is just an unneeded tab. This is why the tab police are on to me. Let's start closing things. Let's also make sure that we're keeping up to date with everything Arsenal as well. We ain't missed nothing, have we? Let's change this to the past hour. No, we ain't missed anything. People, smash the like button and keep your thoughts coming. Kai Havertz says he's enjoying his new pocket position at Arsenal. Let's see what he said. I think this pocket position suits me quite well, but wherever I play, I'll give everything. I've said it many times, but I feel comfortable wherever I'd like to be on the pitch, but I'm not a player who is just in one position. I like to be flexible, and I like to switch, be flexible. I think that is one of my strengths. But what are you? I'm going to give everything wherever I play. That is the most important thing, which is true. So, yeah, and we've already covered the others. But, yeah, big up you, jack of all trades, master of none. But it's better than being a master of none. Arsenal have an easier time persuading Victor Osimhen to sign after Real Madrid won the race for Mbappe, allegedly, people. I mean, everyone's going to be interested. And the Osimhen thing, we're going all around the houses, people. Apparently, Rudy Galletti has said Chelsea are planning to speed things up for Victor Osimhen, and he's their main target to strengthen their attack. We all know he's got a 100 to 130 million euro release clause, so make of that what you will. Arsenal have been scouting Red Bull Salzburg youngster Oscar Gluck ahead of the potential summer transfer window. Forgive me for mispronunciation. We have been linked with the 19-year-old attacking midfielder before. Scouting doesn't mean you're actually moving for them anytime soon, but there you have it. And this article is just echoing the same thing there. Joshua Kimmich could leave Bayern Munich this summer. Barcelona are following the situation. So could we? Apparently his relationship with Tommy Tuchel has hit a serious road bump, and it's stress for Bayern Munich at this moment in time. Got battered against Leverkusen, lost to Lazio, and I'm sure you would have seen against Bochum. Is it Bochum or Bochum? Whatever. They lost again, people. So Tommy Tuchel could get the clip. It could be peak for him. 2 more likes and we have 100 people. But yeah, that seems to be everything Arsenal related. What are you lot saying in the comments? On the striker thing, can you imagine Ivan Toney playing for Spurs? Because we don't go for them. It's like Rice going somewhere else. We'd be cruising right now. To be fair, I don't think Ivan Toney is going to be lacking interest. Look at the way Arteta has improved the team. He tends to overachieve in terms of the top 4 fight from last year. Everyone said it would be Spurs versus Arsenal, but then we blew them away. Yeah. Big up Frankie de Jong, but that's a dream chasing thing. One thing I rate about Arteta here has made us be in the conversation with City and Liverpool. Facts. 3 years ago, when both teams hit 90 points, if someone said we'd compete with them, I would have laughed at you. It's early, and I know the talk about a winger and a striker for the summer, but I think we only need a striker if we keep Trossard and Smith Rowe. Both can play on either side. We also need at least 2 midfielders and a centre-back/right back. Richard, I agree, but I all assume Smith Rowe starts. And again, he could have, but when Smith Rowe has played, he's actually played in that 8. He ain't gone back to that kind of left-sided role, really and truly. So it's Pete. Zubimendi or Frankie de Jong, who would you rather? James Bond? Frankie de Jong, but I think Zubimendi's probably a better fit beyond the obvious quality and the stature of the 2 players. DJ, I think Nico Williams would be a good signing, can play on both wings and has a 42 million release clause. I think he's a decent player, but I don't know what it is. I'm not watching him religiously. I think there's some skills he can bring to Arsenal, but I don't think it's a thing where like I'm waxing lyrical, like, yo, we have to sign him, we have to sign him, we have to sign him kind of thing, if that makes sense. But if he joins us, do a thing. After a terrible start, has Kai been a success at Arsenal this season so far? A mixed bag, really and truly, you know, because we're still trying to figure out what the hell Kai Havertz is. And, you know, obviously in the modern day, you need to be able to play a number of roles. But what is Kai Havertz's first position? And it's very difficult saying this about someone that might be 24, 25, but with a wealth of experience, a German international Champions League winner. Is he a central midfielder able to play up front? Is he a striker able to play centre mid? I'm sure if there's any Chelsea fans here, they've had that conversation. I do think, you know, I like his fight. I think he's down for the cause. I do think he's got intelligence to stick to what Arteta is demanding of his. I still want to see a bit more with, you know, just him laying down a marker in the middle. I like his third man runs. I like when we played him twice against Liverpool up front. I do think, you know, in a terrible period like where around the Newcastle game, he's doing all right. He looks a lot more comfortable. A success, I'm not sure, because obviously the form's been all right and Kai Havertz ain't a scapegoat and whatnot, but I would hardly say, you know, 65 million Kai Havertz is taking us up a gear in the same way Declan Rice kind of has, or if Timber was fit, Timber would. He's just fitting in but not standing out. And I still think there's issues on that left-hand side, really. And, you know, big up Kai Havertz for scoring, you know, but sometimes it feels more so against the West Ham game, in the West Ham game against West Ham. He's playing well, but it's like, if you just focus on the 3 in midfield, it's like, isolated to whatever their roles are. It's like Declan Rice is playing out of the skin, Odegaard's playing out of the skin, and they're like up there, and then Havertz is there. And I don't think our left 8 is sorted. But if he's going to be a rotational, adaptable, versatile player, then it is what it is. I think he's at least saved himself from being the flop of the season. Calvin Phillips is taking that crown, but yeah, Jesus or Lautaro. Techie one, but Lautaro smells blood up front a bit more, so I'm with that, if that makes sense, man. If I'm completely honest with you, man. So that's what I would say. Rafa Leao would be decent, but he's linked with PSG, and plus, I think he can be converted into a striker, but you show me your left winger at this moment in time, and he's not exactly in the best run of form now, is he, essentially? So it's peak for him, really and truly. So yeah, man. But with that being said, though, people, we've been in for 58 minutes. You know, we've spoke football and spoke Arsenal. We've talked about heartbreak. You know, we've gone over what Mikel Arteta has said and all the other tabloids. You know, if there's anything else of note, you can rest assured I'll be there with videos or live streams, etc. Do me a favor, if you haven't YouTube, guys, smash the like button and subscribe. Obviously, leave a comment after. Appreciative for you lot listening, commenting, interacting, etc. Big up the Twitch gang as usual, folks. And big up to you lot who are followed. And make sure you're following with Amazon Prime. You lot enjoy what's left of your Monday morning, evening, or afternoon. I should be back at 7 if nobody flops. I'm going to have a fan show where we'll kind of echo the points we've spoken about. Any points you lot have to bring to the table, we'll get that done. And we'll obviously look towards the Porto game. So yeah, man, there's always content. You lot stay safe, stay blessed, smash the like button and subscribe. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully we can get to 70k subs by the end of 2024. Peace.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like
Tongue